All right, good evening. This is the Town of Newcastle Select Board meeting for December 22nd. Calling this meeting to order at 7:02 p.m. And first thing on the agenda is amendments to the agenda. Is there anything?
I don't have anything additional to it.
Okay, no amendments. Moving on to item 3. Previous meetings, meeting minutes, December 8th.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes as written.
Second. Okay, any comments? Okay. So Ben, you were absent, so hearing none, 4 of us will vote. All in favor? Or 1 abstention. Okay, item 4, public comments. Not on the agenda. Mike, this is you. You have any comments?
Great cookies.
All right, so noted. Closing out comments not on the agenda. Item number 5A, updated select board priorities. And of course, as we know, this is an ongoing living document that keeps a track of all of our priorities. And how do you want to do this, Kevin? Just kind of go through top of list?
I'd like to just go through the list and kind of share where we are with most of these things. Obviously, we're falling a little behind. You can see the second Gantt chart gives you an idea of how I think they're going to play out for the rest of this year, and just talk to the board about any other modifications they'd like to see.
I think we're adapting. We're not.
You're right.
We're going with the flow.
We're not falling behind.
Yeah.
It just amazes me how long some things take and others are moving along quite nicely, but it seems to compound into one time frame, because right now we're tackling the bridge on Lynch Road, we're tackling the Public Works Working Group, and the Mills Road project are all happening right now. At budget, when budget starts next month.
Yeah.
So while we're putting together the budget now.
Right.
So it is a little challenging, but we're doing okay. I think Lynch Road is probably the one I want to start with. I don't mind. The minor span was compromised almost 3 years ago. It was May of 2023. But it will be replaced and fully functional, hopefully by May of 2026. Really depends on weather. When the asphalt plant's open and they can finish putting in the I just found out today the bridge span will be cast in late January, early February. So it is in progress. I know and I mentioned this last time, they really struggled with getting the sandbags, the cofferdam set up because of the pressure of the ebb and flow. So it's really important that we are doing this bridge span. Working with FEMA to try to get as much of this reimbursed as possible, because I estimate about $1.7 million project. FEMA is also right there. I mean, we're within, the FEMA estimate is about $44,000 more than what I anticipate this project's going to cost. So there's a chance that 44,000 would be a windfall towards our 10%. So I estimate between 132,000 and 150 something. Sorry, I had 172 and 130, 172 and 132. Somewhere within that range is what the town of Newcastle is going to be on the hook for this replacement. But I have the FEMA representative we're working with is phenomenally knowledgeable and well connected within the FEMA ranks. Just like last time, we looked at exploring wing walls. The biggest hiccup is environmental and historic preservation. So it is with them right now. They have essentially okayed the figure that's in here, just over 1.7 million. So it is really just up to HP to review. We've given them everything they've asked for. They just need to move it through their process, which is a little longer. And getting staffing at federal level right now, it's I don't know when it's going to be approved. So we're going to have to just continue to. We've already obligated the funds to pay for this project. We're just going to have to sit and wait until we get it. Public Works Working Group.
I just want to say though.
Yeah, sorry.
To note, I think that's awesome that we're getting a 50-year bridge or more, 75-year bridge. The one that we wanted for $130,000 to $170,000 out of town's coffers. That's a good deal.
It is,
Good work.
Especially
Yeah.
because the, whatever, was it just under $1 million to replace with like, lasts, what, 5 years?
Well,
I mean, so that's.
yeah, they estimated the in-kind replacement would have been $1.1 million.
So, yeah,
So to go the extra mile, spend all this extra time approving the mitigation funds and then. Yeah, it's well worth it, well worth the time and stress of having to delay this as long as we have. But it's in progress now and. I'm hopeful, extremely hopeful we'll get that cash at some point in the next year.
Great.
The Public Works Working Group has met a few times. We just had a meeting on December 15th. Which we didn't get through everything. I mentioned it in my town report too. I think that when the group meets again on January 13th, there's gonna be some effort to at least have a discussion about how we engage with the public who attends. It kind of, I mean, it was important for the public to ask questions of our guests who attended. We had Sandra Fournier from Mapleton, Castle Hill and Chapman, finally said that right. And her Public Works Director, Road Commissioner. They helped us understand how their interlocal agreement works for their towns, 3 towns. And how their small staff are able to accomplish the needs of the 3 towns collectively. You know, obviously there were some questions from the public and we opened that up, which just led to more questions from the public of the committee. And unfortunately, we weren't able to get through the full agenda. So we're continuing to work this process through. Andy has a lot of, our town manager in Damascus, Andy has a lot on his plate too. So we're just trying to fit this in where we can. I know it's not as mentioned when we had the public meeting back on, well, say September 22nd. That conversation was, all right, we know we want to continue to at least explore this, take your time. So that's a directive Andy and I have used just because of all the other demands right now. The development of the Mills Road site. So we received proposals. We did an RFP back in the summer. We worked with Acorn Engineering and Kaplan Thompson, and that just was at our last meeting, presented some of the concept drawings. What came from that conversation has some more questions from the board. So Michael and I are taking the approach where we're putting together a small advisory team to help us develop the framework that we'll bring back to this board. It involves an architect, an engineer, a developer, John Egan from Genesis Fund, myself, our attorney, and our planner. I think it's 7 of us are going to meet in early January to develop this framework and bring it back to you as something to consider. And how it's going to get funded and how it's going to get, how we're proposing to have it approached. There's plenty, I mean, there's plenty in this report, I'm sure you've read, so I don't need to repeat everything, but the battery lending program, there's a whole bunch of batteries sitting in the back of this room right now. These are, I pulled them out of the boxes so they could probably be charged. I did find last week when I opened one, it was at 28%. So it's important to get them charged. They stay charged for a while. So I think that the program will involve, you know, once a month, plugging them all in for however long it takes to go from 90% back to 100. Or just before a storm coming in and having it done.
Like tomorrow night.
Well, like, which I should have had this program in place for last week. Last Friday was pretty hairy. There's I think over 300 customers in Newcastle without power for a period of time. So it would have been ideal to have this program in place or implemented and ready to go. My challenge is really around finding the volunteers. They are not super light. So I do not necessarily think that some of our residents will be able to stop by, pick them up, put them in their car and bring them back in a few days. So we are moving some of the funds that were left over from the battery backup program. In this building, we had about $13,000 left over. And working with the grant tours. Or the grantees, right?
Right,
Yeah, so we're working with the grantors to modify our application so we can move that money over to the lending program. Looking to buy wheeler bags for them, as well as maybe a few more batteries. But the other challenge is finding volunteers that, I think we can, I just the logistics piece is still kind of
A
in
little bit
play.
of outreach.
Yeah, I mean, that's the next step, like, ideally, you wanna have a phone number that people can call, obviously, it's gonna be the town office, but in the case of an emergency. Whose phone number are they calling? Mine?
In Union,
on Sunday morning.
Right, I mean, so. Trying to find the right person to.
I mean, ideally, the person that lives closest to
With a burner
the
phone.
fire
That'd
station.
Sure.
be me.
But the idea is to have. Yeah, the idea is to have about a 6 or so in here, a few at town office, so if people can come by and pick them up before an event. They could stop by the town office and pick one, sign one out. If they're in here, maybe that's the secondary group of them for residents to come get, or in an emergency, they come get. And we still haven't even contacted the library to see if they'd hold a few of them on reserve for us. So we have 16, we were able to get 16 on discount, so. I just need to get the program in place and get it out there to the public.
Does the do people know like what this would cover? You know, if you're not
Yeah.
versed in this stuff.
Yeah, these batteries, the size of these batteries, we did a test run with someone's refrigerator.
Yeah.
It went 3 days
Nice.
and he actually unplugged it before the battery died because he was tired of having to step over the cord behind he had pulled his fridge out, plug it in to test it.
Yeah.
And then had to basically step over logistically, it became more of a nightmare than figuring out how many days can it last.
There aren't a lot of power outages that last more than 3 days.
Correct.
Yeah.
And you know, ideally what you're doing is you're running, if it is in the summertime and it is hot, you run in the fridge and then you're turning it off. And a little while later, you run the fridge again. It would
Keep your
do
phone
well with
charged.
it would, absolutely, there's a, you don't have to even wire it, you just set it on top and charge your phone. If you have the system of your phone. What the other one I found is really helpful is if you have a Rinnai heater, that can easily be powered by the battery.
Yeah.
So it's just ball blower fan and you know, light igniter, so.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. And obviously a space heater too, I haven't tested to see how long they last. But we're putting together, you know, instruction sheets on how to use and hopefully some of those ideas about what the devices that are appropriate to use for this.
So probably having some volunteer citizens to help transport and possibly hook up.
Correct.
Some,
Correct.
you know.
Yeah.
Some residents might not have that.
Yeah.
ability,
Yeah.
so.
I mean,
Pull
the
that
one,
fridge out.
Pull their bridge out and.
Yeah.
Yeah, get it plugged in.
and that's some of the logistic stuff we're just trying to map out right now before we launch it. So I do hope to do it this upcoming month after the new year, so that it is available through the rest of the winter. Our grant for first responder housing. This was the DECD grant that led to us applying for an ARPA funds from the county that ended up helping us with the Mills Road project. I still have that, we still were awarded that grant. It was Damascotta who had applied, we were just a partner. So Andy and I met, we have an drafted RFP, we're gonna put it out next month to try to find. So I was thinking about other locations, because we just ended up doing a project in Mills Road. So I've talked to our fire chief about it. You know, is there a better utilization of the rest of this site? And consideration of, you know, we talked about it last budget cycle, moving Liberty Street up and around. Is that feasible or possible? So I was considering the ask of that bid to be about this site for better use of this full site. But town office is on the lower level and you have some housing available upstairs approach, but it's what I came up with. Unless you guys have other ideas about sites that would be ideal for, you know, this particular grant for first responder help.
I think it's a great idea to put, you know, 4 or 6 units, something over there, because. you know, that's. Yeah, I can see that working.
Yeah.
I've always questioned whether town office could accommodate all that we need to do here and this building. You know, for what this serves too.
Well, we move the town office, we put housing where the town office is.
Correct.
That'd be a
Yeah,
great spot. for
that'd be
housing.
great too.
That's a bigger
Partnership.
bigger partnership, bigger project, but
So that's cool, thinking outside the box there, So I'm sorry, where's that coming? That's in processing.
DCD grant for first responder housing. Yeah, before we put something out there, I want to be at least be able to point to a site. And the site I at least suggested for now was this, but if you guys think of other sites, let me know in the coming weeks.
Okay.
And I mean, we don't have to own it. It could be somebody else owns it or you know, want to talk to them about using for this type of housing. But I know that Damascotta has their fire station, they have a large enough lot next to it that they're talking about doing specifically first responder housing right there, right next to it. So I just think, well,
wouldn't that be ideal?
could this be reconfigured some way that doesn't completely make it difficult for the residents on Pleasant and Liberty, but can
How
accommodate?
much money are we talking in this grant?
It was $150,000.
Okay, so I mean, it offer planning and.
Yeah, the idea was to take it the next step beyond concept and did some of the visual
Yep.
renderings of what it would look like.
Yep.
And it was to identify 4 sites
Mhm.
and then do renderings for 2.
Okay, yeah.
Identify 4 sites, concept drawings for all 4 sites and then
Wait,
renderings.
do we burn through any of that for the Mills Road?
We still have some funding left for Mills Road.
No, I'm saying, is there still 150 available or?
That's for this grant, that's for this DEC.
That's just for this, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
We have 120 we got for Mills Road.
Right, okay.
And we've spent all but about 24,000 now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so we have another 150 between the 2 towns.
That'll take you quite a ways.
Yeah, it would,
Yeah,
yeah.
that'd be cool.
Problem is, we've gotten so many grants in the last few years, it's more of a challenge just to administer them all. It's not a bad problem to have.
No.
Alright, and then the next item was the creating the unified strategy. Michael and I have not had time to dedicate to this. He and I have had some back and forth about what it might look like and how to develop this. But I'm really just asking that this does get pushed into summer of 2026. Just so we can let the dust settle, because I know there's gonna be some work around potential ordinance changes. In part related to the village district. Village. Yeah.
Well, and I think, is this where BPI would sort of,
That type of, that's
Support this.
involved in that, like, but we wanna do some coordinated conversations with the community around. You know, some of the growth, I think I made you guys aware before we supported the idea of and asked to be a part of. Lincoln County got another DEC grant to look at sewer extension. And where that would be appropriate, and there are essentially 2 stretches of that within downtown Newcastle. One that comes from here and goes a little further up, and one that goes up to at least the maybe Louis Doe's or just before Louis Doe's, before the bridge. Like, just if you expand it just a little bit, can you accommodate more growth? And what the cost to install would be versus what you would need for density to make it happen, or make it financially feasible. So we're exploring that, but like, we really haven't had a conversation with the community about that. I mean, it's written in our comp plan, it talks about it, but we need to reiterate that and share that information. And I think that's what part of this is talking about specifically what's in our comp plan, what talks about where we want to see density and growth, and actually how do we achieve that, in part with what's happened with the VPI and where do we want to go when DOT finally does fund the planning side of that. I want to be able to present them something and say, this is what we want to be able to develop the civic spaces for, and here's a vision. So, we've had a lot of back and forth conversations, we just haven't had a chance to sit down and have that happen.
yeah, I think just keeping just the term village partnership initiative in this part of the planning. It's important, just because it was a priority item for a long time.
Yeah, and it still is.
And it is, I get it, it just doesn't show up. So I think just keeping it in our conversation is just my only point, just making sure we don't forget about that.
The last one is the greater use and recognition of civic spaces. We haven't made too much progress on this yet, but I will say the Pumpkin Fest 5K, the inaugural Pumpkin Fest 5K. Was launched at our town office, and the use of the park was. Gonna focus on dedicating more of that park space for that event next year, because it seemed a little tight and people, there was overflow that happened over there, so I think it would be. It's a great use of that for overflow and actually hosting the event and having some of the vendors maybe there for the event. And then. I think, the other one was Halloween. Did I even write that one in there?
Yeah, you mentioned
Oh, I did.
Glidden Street.
And then Glidden Street closure for Halloween. It isn't necessarily a civic space, but it does feel like you're creating civic space by closing the road down and just having it available for families. It's so. And I like your idea, Ben, of using those batteries to charge some lights on the street for that event next
Oh,
year.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
That'd be fun.
So those are the items that were our priorities for this year. As we're about halfway through the year now, and really focused on those top 3 or 4, or 5. And then I also included a link to the action items that this board has taken part in for the last 3 years, as everything's in there. And it just goes to show this group is awesome at tackling things, I'm telling you.
Thanks to you being there.
No, thanks to the staff. We got a great team that are helping lead a lot of these efforts. Somewhat to their like, what are we doing now, Kevin? What's on the list?
Do you feel like this is a comfortable order of priority for you and the rest of the staff?
I do, especially, like I only put the unified strategy into March or April, May, June, because budget is gonna ramp up right up till then.
Yeah.
I don't know if we'll even get to it by then, that's why I mentioned maybe summer of 2026, but I like to keep it where it is, just so it stays at the forefront, so Michael and I bash through Mills Road.
We'll just keep making progress on them.
That's our goal.
That's all we can do.
Is there anything not on the list that you'd like to see, it doesn't even fall on the priority list, but that needs to be addressed or believe that should be addressed for?
So remind me, how do we visit like our priorities in total, come up with, what's on the list? What should we add? What do we take off, so I mean, obviously it's a living. Your Gantt chart's a living document, so you're always modifying that. I'm just wondering when, big ideas get added to it. I can't remember what we do. It's usually in the once a year in December, right?
Yep, typically our process has been, at least since I've been part of the team here, to revisit the full list and add to it at the first meeting, or the first meeting of the new select board. So after town meeting.
Yep.
Typically we'd sit, review those lists, rank them ourselves.
Yep.
You guys rank them. And then come to a consensus about what those priorities are gonna be. Obviously, if things rise up through the year, I would add them to this, but. All the other things are relatively small or 1 or 2 meeting needs, so I haven't dropped them here. So that is a end of June, beginning of July, typically.
Okay.
Which hopefully the Lynch Road will be off
It'll be completely off this list.
by then.
Yeah,
It's been on there the whole time.
It has been on there since I got here.
Since you got here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, there's a few of these items that are gonna drop off the
Yes,
list
yeah,
when we get to the end of the
so
year.
it'll be nice to be able to actually. Look
Check.
at some of the other sort of big items that are a little less pressing. We'll be able to
Yeah, yeah.
address.
Well, I think that's the exciting part is it'll open up some room and space for us to kind of introduce new big ideas.
Yeah.
You know, that'll be the time to do it.
So the request is to bear with me through the end of, at least through April when we revisit these.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. So we want to have a motion then to accept the timeline of revised priorities as presented in the memo for the town manager dated December 19th, 2025. Commit to reviewing the list again in March.
This motion.
Motion. Yeah.
So moved. Seconded.
Second that. Okay, Karen and Rufus, any further discussion?
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, good job. Okay, no other discussion points or questions? All those in favor? Great. You, Kevin. And, new business, moving on to item 6A, the cable franchise agreement. Man, this has been.
That was so fun to read.
Yeah.
Is that how you put yourself to sleep every night?
No, this afternoon on the couch.
Oh,
I fell asleep reading it.
I'll be honest, I skimmed all 60
That's
pages.
fine,
but,
that's-
you know, I got the.
I have
gist.
skimmed as well, so.
I think that the way I see it, the sort of the key item was the grant money
Correct.
for what we
Capital
wanna do
improvements.
for that.
Is that something that they added in, or that's something that was in the prior one that we just have never done anything with?
No, that's added in for this round.
Okay,
I mean, it was in there before to take care of some of the equipment that's here.
a grant from,
Through them, through consolidated,
whatever these are called, yeah.
whoever they're called today,
Okay,
Yeah.
charter.
Charter
Communications.
Communications. Okay,
The question really is like. You know, like what I'm looking for is the board to support moving this draft. And hand it to charter and say, this is what we'd like you to approve. So we can continue to get some franchise money. The only challenge with the capital needs is that it's usually just a pass-through fee on the users. And it's unclear to me how much capital we actually need right now. But that's really the question. If you want to have capital included in here, it can be done. It just may be I can request that it isn't just another fee that's attached to
right,
their bill, to residents' bills. That, you know, it's comes out of their revenue line rather than just
Just-
pass through.
another thing on the bill, I brought mine just in case we needed
Oh,
any
cool.
information.
But they wouldn't.
No, I haven't even taken it to them yet.
They may
No,
say they're not gonna do it.
They're
at
not
all.
going to do that.
No,
They're gonna,
Of course they would.
They're just gonna pass it on.
It's not 2011 when we first signed that agreement. It was a 10-year agreement.
right,
Back then, streaming services were not what they are now. And number of actual, line-based television subscribers was much higher.
Right.
I can't support the idea of passing on an additional tax to the few residents who still use landline-based cable television. This doesn't make any sense.
So, does that include the grant? Is that how you?
that's what that
That's
is.
how
That's
they
what that
fund,
is.
that's how they fund the grant.
I think we'd fund any capital needs differently anyway.
Yeah.
So
So remove it.
I'd be in support from, again, I don't think it's as necessary as it used to be. There's a lot of angst about it in 2011.
And this is leaving it at the 3% that it's currently at.
Honestly, I don't think it's gonna be a dwindling source of revenue for us, as Ben mentioned.
Yeah, I was just looking, it's not actually, not put in there. Any idea what it was in the last year?
Give me a minute, I'll pull
Well,
it.
yeah, only if it's easy to get at.
It is,
I don't know how much money we get in franchise fees at this point.
I'm gonna guess something like 10,000.
I would assume it, since LCTV has asked for 15,000, it's more than that.
Say in a minute.
Yes, no, take your time, take your time.
Yeah, it's not going the other way, so
No,
eventually we're all just gonna watch TV through the air.
I just called and canceled the phone line service.
Yeah.
Through our local telephone provider today,
Yeah,
completely.
did you hear AT&T is no longer gonna support copper
Yeah.
wires?
Yeah.
We budgeted 13,000 and so far we've brought in 5,600.
okay,
It's halfway through the year.
so it's not even gonna hit our budget amount probably,
Is that a monthly
quarterly payment,
quarterly payment?
yeah.
Yep, we've gotten a payment on 8/28 and one on 12/1. About 2,800 each. So yeah, I don't, we're not gonna even reach our budget for their revenue this year.
So rethink that later.
So, possible motion and then, sounds like we have some amendments.
Well, the only one so far is the one Ben mentioned, taking out
Take out the grant.
the grant.
Yeah.
Yeah, only if we could guarantee that it was just them dipping into their own pockets, but there's no way to guarantee that, I guess. Yeah, I don't. Think I had anything else, because I think. Page 7, this only applies to the cable TV portion of the bill, not their. Internet service.
Correct.
That's correct, okay. So that's why it doesn't apply to Tidewater Telecom. Even though Tidewater has TV channels, don't they?
You have IPTV runs over different cables.
We used to have an agreement with them, but was a reason why there isn't, we're not even trying to tackle this, because the numbers would be
It's too little.
a couple $100.
Yeah, it's not. Okay.
This whole concept, of course, it's just going away.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think it's all because of switching over to it's not on copper cable anymore,
It's on the internet or
right?
on the cellular
Yeah.
network or Starlink or whatever. It's running on the internet.
So do you delete that paragraph or you just make it 0?
What, for the grant?
Yeah,
Yeah, you don't need to make the exact changes. If I know that they don't want to take the grant, I'll just tell them to modify the document to not have that in.
I think we should just mention it in the motion.
Yes, please do.
Well, I'll make the motion to approve the draft. Cat V. Franchise agreement. With modification of removing the, requested grant amount.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor? Motion passes 5 unanimous. Okay, item 6B, new business dedications and recognitions policy. And I think this is something new to us, so, and I think Kevin, you wanna just kind of take us through this?
Yeah, so I worked on a policy based on a request from select board member Karen Pass. Who she had been in contact with.
Okay, the grandson of, he lives in Florida, the grandson of, can't remember the name off the top of my head, but the gentleman from Glidden Street who was instrumental in getting Veterans Park built. In 1990s, he was the chair of that group that raised the money and did all the stuff they needed to do. And he contacted me about possibly putting a little plaque in the park to commemorate his grandfather, his efforts there. So that's kind of what spurred the discussion of, well, you know, we want an 8-foot statue, do we want to have control over this, we want to say what happens. So that's why the discussion ensued on, maybe we needed a policy before we say yes to anything or no to anything.
So then I drafted a policy and looking for feedback, and you don't have to take a vote tonight. In fact, I'd say we don't, but just take a look at it and let me know if you have suggested changes. I think it's encompassing, you know, like art installations was a thing I thought of too.
Mhm.
So I didn't include that as part of this process. Art installations becomes another policy, but yeah, so that's where my mind went.
I couldn't think of anything off the top of my head that needed to be included in here. Because I think you're right, we need to, there needs to be a good reason we would want to commemorate or memorialize somebody somewhere. I can't just be because I love my grandmother and I want to put a plaque up with a picture of her on it. So I think you covered most of the stuff that we need to be concerned with.
Yeah, I think it's important to, if we need to move something, it's not there forever.
Yeah. I think that's specifically stated in here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, that's good.
And if it starts to look bad, either they can be responsible for fixing it or replacing it, or we could just remove it. So my only thought was, do we want to have any kind of guidelines on what something would look like, or we could just leave it to them to bring us an idea? Someone may say it's a bench, someone else might say it's a little plaque on a rock, somebody else might want to
True.
put your plant a tree. Yeah,
It's a popular one.
yeah, so with a little, maybe a little thing stuck in the ground.
Well, it's under board review, right?
Yes.
So I hope somebody wouldn't just buy something, say, here it is, where do we put it?
Right.
I think that'd be a conversation. I hope.
Yes,
All right, they'd make a proposal of what they saw fitting. It's like, yeah,
Where's it gonna go?
right, 3-ton boulder, maybe not. How about a,
bust on a pedestal.
Yeah.
It does leave the decision on the design in the subjective hand of board members, which
It does.
I don't like. So
But,
we could temper that slightly by saying something like anything smaller than X, weighing less than X, can be handled by the select board. Anything larger than X, heavier than X needs to go to the town for a vote.
Right, or anything that exceeds a certain height or a certain square footage.
I don't think this, I don't think the select board should necessarily have final say on whether someone wants to erect a, Civil War statue of a man on a horse made out of bronze that's 20 feet tall without the town weighing in on it. You know what I mean? Likewise, there's a difference between planting a little tree or an entire row of trees, or that tree being a shrubbery versus that tree turning into a 150-foot tall pine. I mean, there's limits. There should be.
yeah, I don't,
Our collective aesthetics should not rule.
dictate?
But we have such good taste.
No, we don't. Collectively, we don't, and neither would a future board.
so I don't disagree with you, I raise caution about being too prescriptive about this, and I just think. looking at what we have now, which is somebody wants to do something, there's really no mechanism other than town manager or to say, yeah, okay, or, you know, I don't know. So I think any chance for it, it's like receiving gifts. I mean, we have the right to receive the gift around, so.
We have to ask for that permission every year.
And that, yeah, I mean, I don't think we want to do that for this policy, but
No, no,
I'm just using it as an example. I mean, you know, somebody wants to gift something on town land for memorial. I think. So to say what's gonna be.
but I want to gift a
appropriate,
mausoleum.
You want the.
I want to gift a mausoleum,
Right. That's where.
a whole mausoleum,
Marble, right?
marble.
Yeah.
It's the size of this building.
Nice.
I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I don't disagree with you, but there should be some reasonable.
I think
Some verbiage to,
I
if
think-
it's a large,
If it takes up over a certain amount of space, it's gonna catch people's eye.
Can we just say
Say,
a
where did that come
reasonable
from?
Well, no, because
proportions?
then who decides? I mean, this is one of those, smaller than bread box, bigger than bread box kind of things. Very, very simple.
Yeah.
If it's,
If it's bigger than a
if-
bench.
if it's,
I was gonna say, a
you know,
bench is a fairly common
Yeah.
thing, so.
if it's, no. But if it's bigger than, 4 cubic feet or 200 pounds, it goes to the town. If it's less,
goes to
Select board.
town per vote.
Yeah.
Oh. But what if it's made out of wood?
that's why the weight. 4 cubic feet or 200 pounds. I'm making
No,
stuff up. I'm
No,
just-
it's
Yeah,
good, it's good to think about those things, though.
Does a tree fall 4 cubic feet when it grows or it just get bigger?
See,
And it exceeds
And
the 120 pounds?
Right, exactly.
So.
Oh, yeah, then you vote on whether or not to have it down.
Well, obviously. But that then it becomes the problem, right? I mean, that's the
Yeah.
thing, people get attached to these things, right?
Yeah.
Especially trees. Once they get to a certain point, it's like, oh God, don't even talk about cutting them down, crucified.
Right. So there could be a distinction between permanent and temporary.
Yeah, you're laughing at me, but I'm on the planning board,
I
man,
know,
we
I
talk
know.
about this stuff,
I
like,
know.
it's important to think about.
Oh, yeah.
Like any permanent installation, i.e. living vegetation. There should be some sort of review. Not just the select board, okay? I don't know.
I don't know.
How into the weeds do we wanna get?
I don't wanna get too into the weeds, I just,
Well, like if somebody said, oh, I want to plant a small tree in Veterans Park. Well, in 30, 40 years, it's not gonna be a small tree.
Well, but there
Yeah.
are varieties of trees that are small and,
Right, but do we want that a forested park or do we want it a fairly open park, these are things to.
Why can't it just be the board reviews any proposed memorials?
I mean,
And-
most people, because of the
and as-
expense, would want, I'm talking about black, maybe a bench.
Yeah, well, I mean, who knows, but I'm just saying.
But
just-
something weird will come up, it's
always.
guaranteed.
And-
What if it's one of our relatives who wants something? Comes in and makes an impassioned plea for something.
Ben's daughter, when he passes away, is like, look at all the time and energy that my father put into this town. And he put this money aside for 40-foot tall mausoleum, marble mausoleum. The design is drawn, he's had it in his safe.
And you're gonna say no
You're gonna
because
say
you
no?
guys are mean.
That won't be the only reason.
I'm just saying, like, from a planning board perspective, we do not like reviewing things that don't have some guardrail standards around it. If it's completely subjective, it's a nightmare.
So we
The
just
very
need to-
first thing that comes to us, we're gonna go. Against what criteria do we judge the worthiness of this?
Right,
And the answer will always be, probably, if there's someone sitting in front of us, oh yeah, sounds fine. Cause no one's gonna wanna say no.
What if we just don't accept memorials?
that's also short-sighted. Because, I mean, there are. volunteers to this town that have, you know, put in a lot of effort, and if their family has the means to memorialize them in some way, I mean, it seems like it's appropriate to have that option. I don't know.
A nice bench in the park when the one
Or-
that got there fall apart would be lovely.
Or maybe we just say the only way to memorialize on public property is with a plaque set in a flat stone on the ground.
Yeah, I mean, or we could come up with,
Mhm.
you know,
Right, free option.
Option.
you know, already
Yeah.
vetted options that then we don't have to judge. There's no criteria.
That's a good idea.
If we have 3 options, or
Yep.
5 options or whatever, you
Yep.
can choose from one of these 3. These are the things you can do.
Right.
If you want to do something, and then it's simple.
Right. That might be the most straightforward way to go about it, is to say, you know, a 9x11 plaque on the ground, or a 4-foot long bench. In one of these areas,
Or muslin.
or.
But we do have to be specific, because we do have, you know, the plaque in Veterans Park right now is, you know, embedded in a boulder essentially. So someone could say, well, yeah, I'm just doing a plaque. It just happens to be attached to a 10-ton boulder.
Well, no, and that's why I say a plaque applied in this way,
And yeah, exactly.
like, you know, I think my grandparents had a brick or something like that, you know, that had their name on it for, I don't remember what it's for, but you know, that sort of thing, where it's like, okay, well, this is our memorial walkway, if you'd like to buy a brick to memorialize your whoever.
Yep.
Here it is, here's the criteria for it.
Okay, I've heard 2, besides I'm ignoring the mausoleum. I've heard 2 potential options. Then plaque in, I'm gonna say bowling ball sized rock, I'll come up with appropriate terms later. And then a 4-foot long bench, those are the 2 things I've heard.
Is there any,
Like the brick idea.
I mean, it's not a bad idea, because that allows for a lot of possibility, you know, if there's a
where?
path, well, isn't there a paved path through the
It's blacktop,
blacktop?
Yeah.
So what if that turned into bricks?
Replacing the bricks.
Start replacing the blacktop with bricks. You could do the whole thing in brick, and then one brick at a time could be,
someday, that
turned
blacktop's
into-
only been there for about 3 years.
well,
The majority of it will stay for quite a while.
Yeah.
It'll take a while to get.
you could,
fixed.
you know, you could do it 10 feet at a time or whatever. I
Yeah,
just thought,
If you do that, you give yourself a lot of space, and also there's less. You're not withholding space based
Other
on,
things.
or for the person. Like, are we gonna go and, if you only open yourself up for like 20 spots or something, like you have 20 spots for plaques or whatever.
Yep.
How do you decide which people make that,
mhm,
make the plaque?
make the cut,
Make the cut or not, like that's another
yeah.
objective, like. Yeah, there's a lot of people that volunteer their time to the town and stuff like that, so I would hate to see. Somebody not make the cut.
yeah, if you have a walkway with 1,500 bricks,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden they're filled, well, you put in a little semicircle around a tree. You know, you put in a more sweet, or,
I love that idea, but that's a design issue, you know, the whole idea of walkways, and
sure,
I think that needs to be considered in a bigger plan idea.
oh, absolutely,
I
I'm
love
not,
it, but yeah, I don't think that's what we're doing. But I understand. Do you
yeah, I mean, I,
agree? I mean, I think if we're talking about bricks and some kind of pathway, I think we gotta design that and do that.
yeah,
If we're just talking about how do we have a policy to have some purview or review of what's going on, I think that's a different idea, just come up with these few scenarios.
We'll say they're not banging on the door to install these things.
We got one.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not, but you know, it's always the fringe case.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, yeah, okay, so we say it's just, you know, a plaque on a little rock or something like that.
Can we just give it to the town manager to
Yeah, that's
come back with Put it on your list.
That's why I was enjoying you guys coming up with scenarios.
Well, am I wrong? We have the plaque, we have the rock, and we have the bench. That
The plaque
Plaque
on
on
a
rock.
rock.
plaque on a rock,
Is there
Like
another
tree?
application of a plaque, right? Is there another?
A
we want
living-
another spike
a
that goes
living
in the
thing?
ground?
A living thing with a small plaque. Thing. I will go pull the proper language for living thing with plaque and bowling ball size rock with plaque.
I think living thing is gonna be, that's gonna be an issue. If we open ourselves, no, seriously, I'm talking about design,
yeah.
right? If you, all of a sudden you're saying you can.
Where's
put a
it gonna
living-
go?
Where does that bush go? What kind of bush is it? Is it
No, I get
gonna,
it. Is it,
is it an ornamental?
is it a white pine or is
Or,
it?
right, or is
Is it
it,
hydrangea? Yeah.
is it an ornamental that 5 years down the road, we're gonna realize is an invasive species and has just taken over the whole park? You know, there's all these,
Oh, boy.
but she loved Japanese barberry.
Oh,
You know,
But what about the knotweed? That's
Yeah,
my favorite.
right.
It's so beautiful.
Maybe no living things.
I'm
Well, I
just-
mean, cost and maintenance, the town does not guarantee perpetual maintenance. Plaques may be repaired, relocated, or removed as needed for safety, construction, or operational reasons.
I'll be honest, if we just limit it to plaques for now, I mean, the other thing too is if we get a bunch of benches, where are we gonna put them?
Sure.
I got two that I'm always moving around.
What's that?
I've got two that I'm always moving around.
Yeah,
I just moved the other one,
Thank you. I almost said it with the car the other day.
is it
the one
wrong?
that was in front of the,
Yeah,
yeah.
Is it wrong to keep it really narrow and say,
Or what about the little plaques on bench? Like the bench existing.
We could have
bench,
a
you could
memorial
just-
bench,
But
to
you
put
could-
plaques
yeah,
on.
no, I get it. It's on the bench, yeah.
Little pavement, like mosaic it
Yeah.
with little plaques. Okay.
Just
A couple, yeah, very good.
throwing out the ideas here.
wow, this took a deep dive.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
I
Okay,
thought it was gonna be easy.
no such thing.
Perfect example, perfect example.
Okay,
Okay, can we move on from this? Is it,
think so.
Kevin?
Yeah, I have some
Good.
homework.
Alright,
January, see you in January. Yes.
Okay, setting that aside, moving on to item 6C. FY 27 budget or schedule. Budget timeline, so that's where we are.
Yeah, I want to give kudos to Michelle because she put this little thing together, little
Nice.
spreadsheet here. She and I kind of sat down the other day and hashed out the things we focus in on. And put the timeline starting back in election day and moving our way backwards
It looks pretty.
it looks like we're meeting once a week.
in February.
That's how we do it.
So we did last year in March.
Well, twice in January. Oh, it's finance committee.
Finance committee would review the presentation, give me feedback. And then come back and be part of the select board meeting with the initial public
Okay.
presentation.
Right, and then meet. Once a week in February, all right,
And I haven't confirmed with, exactly which day. These groups are meeting with, like fire, I haven't talked to Casey about if he can make the 11th or the 18th, likewise with Southampton. Fourth,
I will not be here on the 18th.
okay. So I guess Wednesday, and I think the question was from Michelle. What day works best? Right now, we just proposed that those Wednesdays. For February.
be gone just that day or that week.
I'll be gone that whole week. Well, we get back the 19th. Sorry.
Always one of the.
Yeah.
Gonna meet Friday nights.
No meetings on Friday.
Can we do the following Monday?
Can you imagine?
Oh, no.
The fall.
So what works for you with the sun?
I'm sorry, I'm just, the 18th, I'm gone. Everything else, all the rest of those are fine.
Is that week spring break, or is that week spring break?
Oh, that's spring break, I mean, I will, I don't know, guess I'll be here. It'd be nice if I wanted to join that week.
If.
So we have the 25th.
Does it throw the schedule off to go with either the 23rd or the 25th?
Nope,
4th, 11th, and 25th.
Stick with the Wednesdays then.
Wednesdays are generally good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's our select board meetings in February?
Get it tonight.
The 23rd.
23rd, yeah. Okay.
so the 25th.
So we meet select board and then 2 nights later we meet for budget. It's good.
Are we doing, we would do an earlier budget, what, if we want to pick a time? Get those scheduled.
How's your schedule in February?
Oh, that's the only week that doesn't work.
No, I mean,
Hourly.
hourly
Work.
work
To what time to
schedule.
start?
I know in the summertime,
Oh.
you tend to work a little later into the evening.
Oh, yeah, February, we don't really have daylight. If we need to do these earlier than 7, that's fine. If that's what you're,
That's
Yeah,
kind of what I
it's
was
after.
asking,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like,
yeah, if you wanted to do 6, I mean, yeah, I can make that work.
not exactly proposing 3-hour budget meetings, but you know how things
I
happen.
do know how those things go. Yeah. I'll make it happen.
You can make 6 happen.
I don't actually even know what my schedule is gonna be.
Okay,
I'll just make it work.
all right.
6 o'clock, 11th, 25th. Or. Good.
Cool.
Looks really good. Love it.
Obviously, more details will come out as we move forward. I just wanted to get this out there and. I think the biggest challenge will be the school's budget. I don't think we'll have. I don't think, I have asked Lindsay to provide, the superintendent, I've asked her to provide at least a ballpark figure by the end of February. And then they start their process the 5th
Of
March.
March.
So that's why March 9th is a good date to talk about any other modifications or actual modifications you want to make to the manager's budget. Cause you'll have at least the preliminary, not the final preliminary numbers that have gone to their finance committee.
Then I listened to the last meeting and the finance committee did start meeting already, so.
And they're probably.
I don't know how many meetings they do or how, what their process is, but they have started.
Yeah, I was just
I don't
told
know
that
if
the
the
finance
deadline-
committee's reviewing the budget as a total for March 5th.
Okay.
Yeah,
Can't imagine pulling those budgets together with everything breaking apart and
Mhm.
well, fortunately, our superintendent only has to focus on
hours.
Lincoln Academy and Great Salt Bay.
Yeah.
Our share of that. Which for one more year is under a certain formula, and then we can change it.
So, do we need a motion on this? I mean,
No.
can we just agree to the dates? Is that-
Yeah, that's fine.
Fine.
Just making those modifications, we'll publish the whole thing, and again, here's some.
Okay.
Once I confirm with Casey and Seth about which date they can actually make it. But knowing that those are the 3 dates we'll use for February for the workshops, that's what I need.
Okay.
Okay, everybody's good with that?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, and we have the date for. Yep, provider agencies is in there, so they have the date, well, they have a date. In the policy to go by anyways, but if they're showing up to the meeting. Then they'll know what day. The 11th to show up.
Who will?
The provider agencies.
Oh, the ones that would need to, yeah,
Yes, we have the.
We'll
policy in
communicate,
place,
and
yeah.
we're gonna communicate with them.
Okay, you good? Alright, so let's move on to, I guess we're at item 7A fiscal warrant. FY 26 AP warrant for $426,324.68, and we will sign that next time we get into the town office.
I'll move the one.
Sorry, guys.
I'll second it.
Second that, discussion.
I neglected to bring it, so we'll have to stop in to sign. But you know, there are a few of you who still have some mail in the office you need to pick up, so.
All those in favor? Motion passes unanimously. All right, so that's it, guys. We have
Managers.
town manager's report, but on our business agenda, that's it. So, Mr. Town Manager, would you mind going through your report?
Sure, you did receive it at 5:30, so you're just getting it now, I'm sure. I'm sure you're all aware now, Jim Brinkler passed. He's a resident who served as a Newcastle volunteer firefighter, I think like 20 years or so. And a select board member. I didn't know him in either of these capacities. I got to know him the last few years through his love for and the dedication to the Alewives Run, as well as through his involvement in the newly formed Alewives Fish Committee. So he's a great asset to this community and will be missed. Heat pumps in the town office, so 2 of our heat pumps, specifically the older ones. In the town, actually, I think it's 3 are connected to it. Are no longer economically serviceable, so their replacement is estimated to be about 12,000. I did not obtain multiple verbal quotes as I deem this as an emergency. So while the purchasing policy requires notice of use of exemptions at the $15,000 threshold, I thought it was important to communicate that with you all. One, because it was in the warrant, or should have been in the
I
warrant.
have a question. How old are those?
They are these Mitsubishi ones, I wanna say,
COVID.
yeah, early COVID.
So they're not that old.
This is 5
They're-
years old.
They're not, they're these, no, the COVID ones are all of them are done in COVID.
Yeah, I mean,
There's,
there's none older.
Right, that's 5 years ago.
so these are the Mitsubishi ones.
Yeah.
That the parts are almost as costly as the units themselves.
But there is, depends what, there is warranty periods on those that
We
go up
looked
to
into
some
that.
case 7 years.
We looked into that.
Yeah.
We're not gonna get anything for
Is that right?
Yeah,
No warranty.
not these Mitsubishi ones that were installed.
Interesting.
Um,
Okay.
That sucks, cause that's,
And the company that installed it is no longer in existence.
So,
Decisions of.
Yep.
Some poor decisions in the past, I know that's a hard pill to swallow, but I'd rather get them replaced with ones we can service with a reputable company locally, rather than someone more than an hour away.
I just, yeah, I don't know, Tom, what do you think? Is that reasonable?
Yeah,
Really?
It's three heads connected to that.
it's the one out front, right?
Yeah, the one, yep. It's one condenser and with 3 heads internally.
There's one right inside the door, one on the back wall. And then one in the server room.
The condensers,
No, the evaporators, the heads.
there's one in the main office, like where Sam's workspace is, behind that one is shot.
Yeah.
The one in the we call it the Michael J. Martone Memorial Wing,
okay, yep.
the planning assessing code office that has one that's not working properly. I mean, it was leaking all over the office the other day. And then the one where the kitchen is. So those 3 are tied together. Those 3 units.
And is it, everything needs to be replaced, or is it just the?
It's a full replacement. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to try to change out the heads for more
Right.
garbage with that condenser.
And
I think the problem is that got chopped up after they were installed. So things like they aren't sized properly as it is because they're in the wrong size space. Which will hurt your longevity on those sorts of things when they're kicking on and off or short cycling or just ramped up because they can't handle the load. So.
The
That
other-
probably
We have another 2 units.
There's another 2 units with 2 heads per condenser.
Same brand and everything.
No.
Okay.
Different brand.
Those were the
Samsung.
Artful ones, I believe.
Oh, the newer
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Those were the same.
Same vintage
Same time as
or-
the one here.
Okay,
More recent.
more
Yeah.
recent. Okay.
Just 3 years ago, maybe.
And those are working well.
We had to replace 2 big Mitsubishi units.
Don't get Mitsubishi again
And
then.
they were, well, the newer ones.
I mean, I like my
the
truck,
ones-
but
It all, a lot of it comes down to who installs it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it does.
It really does.
It was oversized. Like Thomas said, I don't think what was installed there was done. The way it
A lot
should have
of-
been.
A lot of times there's leaks, you know, just
Well,
they lose the valve or something like that too.
And of course,
That
they discovered
insulation.
that the insulation was having a corrosive effect on the copper.
Yeah, that was an issue.
Developing
Yeah.
pinpricks, leaking coolant all over the place.
Yeah.
And then the heads burn out. Yeah, fun stuff.
Eesh. Okay, well. That's that one. Central Lincoln County Fire Department, so 6 regional connected fire departments have begun conversations on how to address an increase in paperwork, training requirements, call volumes, and fewer people to share the burdens. Additionally, daytime emergency call attendance has become all the more challenging. Fire apparatus costs have increased dramatically over the last few years, forcing many departments to evaluate how to maintain readiness while balancing the impact on the taxpayer base. They provided an announcement, which I shared the link here, to advise of their efforts. They just want you guys to be aware of this process that they're creating. And as they continue to form this little organization and come to you with proposals or suggestions, I asked Casey, are you looking for mutual aid? He says, we're not there yet. We're not there to revise our mutual aid agreement. But as you look at, our truck costs 650,000. Damer Scott is looking at a ladder truck that's in the $2 million range. 15 years ago, you would have said, no way, that can't even be possible. So it's a challenge that they're trying to address, and I applaud them for getting together and start thinking about these things. More to come. And then another one, Development Ready Advisory Committee. So state legislature added this committee, and it will have 3 municipal representatives as part of it. I'm asking, with your support, that I'd like to self-nominate to help influence a better relationship between municipalities and the state around land use planning, and obviously my presentation or focus on cost and revenue of infrastructure. I would really like to try to integrate some of that. So here's an opportunity for me to do so, but I do a lot. I try to do a lot for this town, but I do think that this will add value to Newcastle. And, address an interest I have.
When you gonna sleep?
Thursday and Friday
Okay, good,
this week.
good. I'm glad
Just
you're
after
need to
my
have
kid-
time
after
to
my
drive the
kid-
car and then you can nap. on
sleep while the
some-
car is driving.
That's right, autonomous cars. Well,
You feel like you've got the capacity for it, then that'd be great.
I will make the capacity for it, but I want you to be aware that I'm interested in doing this and
I think you're a good guy to do it.
generally have your support.
Yeah.
Right there.
It ties in so much with what we're trying to do here.
Yeah. Well, I keep pointing to all the great successes we're having. And that's why there's so many people now interested in.
Yeah.
Let's be a part of this. So it is exciting. All right, and then the Lynch Road detour, again, I'm just leaving this on here. Trying to say, this is into the spring, so that's a challenge for a lot of those residents, so hang in there. And then obviously I'll be adding inspection reports when I receive them, so there's a link there to that. And then as I mentioned in the brief updates, working group is meeting again on the 13th of January at 6. Originally it was reported that we meet here, but I also realized that they're doing some review of scuba stuff, SCB,
SCB.
We know what you mean.
Getting there, getting there. They're doing some presentations with that, I believe, on that night, so I overbooked the space. That's on me, so I've asked Andy if we could do it at the town office in Dangerstown. So, yeah, it'll be the continuation of the December 15th meeting and some time ahead, the beginning to develop meeting rules for the working groups. That's that, thank you.
Great.
All right, thanks. That's it, folks. So, I think we'll just close by wishing everybody a Merry Christmas.
Yes.
Eat some cookies.
Merry Christmas,
Yeah,
Happy New Year.
cookies. And with no objection, meeting's adjourned at 8:13.
Not bad considering how long that document was.
I mean, I should, broaden my back.